Well, it's the last trading day of the year, and at intraday, the equities market was looking upbeat, though marginally at 0.09%. And in about 40 minutes from now, the closing gong will sound at the stock exchange. Let's join Temple now at the exchange for an update. Hello, Temple. Good afternoon. Well, it's the last trading day of the year. Does it look like the market will step into the new year upbeat?
Well, Chimezie, you just gave us snippets of what's going on in the market. We're still negative right now, down some 0.19%. We've seen some 3,000 deals, 3,000 plus deals in the market. About a billion units of shares traded so far. Now, the market is currently struggling between the bulls and the bears because we're trying to see, when you see the bullish sentiments coming in by way of increased buy side, you see the bears setting in to pull down the index again. That's what we're seeing. And if at all the market closes positive today, then it will be very, very marginal by way of gains. And so about a billion units of shares traded so far, valued at 2.66 billion naira as at a few minutes ago when we last checked. We've seen that the segments are also mixed in terms of performance. The banking segment is a bit positive, 0.45%. Oil and gas is negative as a result of the losses that we've seen in Forte Oil, which was at a point in time the top loser in the market until Stanbic IBTC set in with some 9.95% gains, losses rather. We know that the consumer goods segment of the market is also marginally positive right now, up some 0.08%, and that's as a result of the gains we've seen on flour mills, which rose some 5.2% earlier. And then Dangote Cement was also down in early trades, but at the point we saw it rising again. A few seconds ago when we checked, it was 0.98% positive. And that was how we were able to trim down the losses that we saw at on the index earlier. So that's basically the trend we're seeing so far. Top trades is between Union Diagnostics and Clinical Services, and of course Diamond Bank, which has been on bid for over a week now. Of course, you know the reason for that. On Diamond Bank, we've seen 148 million units of shares traded, and that accounted for more than 40% of the entire transactions that we've seen in the market by way of volume now. Then Union Diagnostics also came in at 27 kobo with some over 200 units of shares on that particular counter now traded. That's basically what we've been seeing in the market. It's hard to say if the market will close positive, but if it closes positive, traders here are not too positive about the mergings in terms of how the index will come in eventually.
Okay, Bisoye Ajayi Akinfolare, one of the top finalists of CNN Heroes, will have the privilege of sounding the closing gong for the year today. How optimistic is the market to host Bisoye, you know, who has made Nigeria proud?
I think that should just speak to the future of technology in Nigeria because Abisoye is known for her philanthropism in the area of ICT, how she's been able to train some girls in coding activities, putting them through on how to program, you know, especially in that area of coding. And that speaks to the fourth industrial revolution. I once had a chat with her, and I know she told me about the how that will shape the future for children, talking about the fact that a lot of things that happen these days has one way or the other a relationship with coding. And she talked about the fact that in the near future, these kids, some of them who are less privileged from the Makoko area of Lagos here, will certainly need coding, and it is better to catch them young at this point in time. You know that in this market, we have the ICT subsector in the market, which has not really been performing so well. But I'm very sure today, Abisoye will be here with some of those children, especially the girls that she has been training here to close the markets together. And I'm sure that will, in one way or the other, make the traders here on the floor and, of course, the investing community to be bullish about the future of ICT in this country. You know how it is with this, the ICT market here. It's something really very, very strong. Just that the representation in the Nigerian Stock Exchange is what needs to now change. We need to have more ICT companies, tradable here on the platform of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Chimeze.
And any update on the CCNN and BUA merger?
Well, we know that it's been trading higher all day. Investors have put more money on that particular company. The number has continued to rise. By now, it should have hit 2 naira. In terms, 20 naira, because earlier in the day it moved, it opened at 19 naira 55 kobo and then rose to 19 naira 95 kobo. So we're hoping it will hit 20 naira and possibly move further. We know that the whole deal posits something really strong for BUA and CCNN because the whole idea is that BUA is known for some 1.5 million metric tons per annum in terms of capacity, and CCNN is known for some 500,000 metric tons per annum in terms of capacity. At the end of the day, when we see the merger, this will bring it to 2 million metric tons per annum by way of capacity. But if you look at the operational side of things, it should hit some 8 million metric tons per annum by way of operations, given the 3 million capacity plants in Otukpo, somewhere in Edo State, rather, where we know that BUA is also coming up with another plant there. So this will strengthen the market activities for CCNN by the fact that it is going to now be the largest producer of cement in northwest Nigeria, and it will be able to export more to other West African countries, especially the likes of Niger and Burkina Faso and Chad, of course, going forward. So that will eventually translate to something stronger for BUA and CCNN in the market. We also know by numbers that CCNN year to date is the best performing stock in the market. It has improved some 105%, coming ahead of the likes of Sterling Bank and, of course, Unity Bank, which has only done some 103, 104% year to date in performance. That's what we know so far. The price continues to grow. We've seen huge volume traded on CCNN, and at the end of the day, when we eventually have the listing here on this market, it would mean that BUA has now has a representation in the market, on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and that will also increase the shares of the cement subsector here in Nigeria. Chimeze.
All right, thank you, Temple. Well, let's hope for a positive end to 2018 and, of course, pray for a happy and prosperous New Year. Happy New Year, Temple. Well, on that note, we draw the curtain on today's edition of the program and, of course, for the year. Thank you very much for being part of this show. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwago. Have a happy New Year.